Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever or wherever you may be listening. Welcome to another show on Sports Music Tonight podcast. As Paul's back, so we are doing Let's Talk Football again.
Hello everybody, we are back.
Paul's he's done a good list, so I'm going to let Paul take the lead. So go away, Paul, talk away.
So this is following on from last time when we were talking about the England squad and we were discussing who should be in and who should be out. And then the very next day I got an idea to look up who actually should be in the England squad according to the app FOTMob. Now, before we start, this video is not sponsored by FOTMob. We are not being paid by FOTMob to advertise. It's just because I use the app to keep up with the scores and look at the stats as I'm going through the games. So,
if they do want to, we're more than happy to accept it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen they do sponsor some channels on YouTube, so maybe you can hit us up.
We'll use you a lot more if you sponsor us.
Absolutely. So basically, on FOTMob, you can organise the players. You can look at the stats and you can see like how many goals they scored, assists and everything. I looked at the average rating across the whole season for all the English players, not just in the Premier League, but I had to try and look in Serie A, where I know there's a couple of English players, and the Bundesliga, Spanish League. So I tried to look in all the top leagues to see which team should actually be picked. Now, the other thing, just before we start going through this list, is that I tried to do it in the way that Tuchel's picked the squad. So it's like we have 3 goalkeepers, we've got 9 defenders, we've got... I tried to get it in the same positions he's done.
So formation.
Absolutely. Or in the way that I would do it.
Yeah.
So the trouble is, if you just organise by average rating, you would probably get like 15 attackers, no goalkeepers. Do you know what I mean? That would be ridiculous. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the list. So, the 3 goalkeepers that, according to FOTMob, if you're just going by average rating, should be going, is Dean Henderson. So his average rating is 7.04. He is in the squad anyway. Obviously Pickford, his is 6.95. So it'd be up to you who you started. So would you go with Pickford over with experience in tournaments? I probably would. But Henderson has had, apparently, according to FOTMob, according to their stats, he's had the better season. And after that, it's actually Nick Pope at 6.94 because Trafford's got a high rating, but he hasn't played enough games. So I think they're doing it off of number of games played as well as the stats.
I think with Trafford, though, it's more, he's our future, isn't he?
Yeah,
so
he
looks,
get that.
Yeah,
he is a good keeper. I do like him. But they're going, he just hasn't played enough this season to warrant inclusion. But I can see, to be honest, I can see taking him over. I mean, the third goalkeeper's rarely going to play anyway. No. So I probably would take Trafford over Pope. But if you're just going purely on stats, it would be Nick Pope. Right. So we're going to have a look at the defenders. I've got 2 right backs, 4 centre backs, 2 left backs, and then 1 extra. Because I think you've got cover in each position. Yeah. You know, you've got if you've got a team and you're playing 2 centre backs, you need 2 to cover them.
Yeah, as long as it ain't Jed Spence.
He's nowhere near, mate. He's absolutely nowhere near. We'll just put that out there. So your 2 right backs. Reece James, average rating 7.27, so he should be the starting right back.
Yeah.
And your sub right back, as we were saying last time, is Trent Alexander-Arnold with 7.12. There is no one else anywhere near that across all the leagues that I looked at.
Not only that, so obviously we know what Reece James brings to the table with his defending and the crosses and the passes and the free kicks. So the like for like replacement, because Reece James is always, injury prone. The obvious choice, isn't it? No?
Absolutely. And also, Trent, if you're going to bring him on, can change the game.
Exactly.
I think if you need someone to ping a ball in, and you need to change your game plan, and if you need to start crossing the ball, Trent's the guy.
Yeah.
So we have 4 centre backs. We've got Mark Gahey is the top performing centre back with 7.37. He is in the squad anyway. The second one that should be going is James Hill with 7.19.
Who's James Hill?
So James Hill, I believe, plays for Bournemouth.
Right, okay.
He has had a brilliant season. He's gone properly under the radar.
Right.
7.19. According to FOTMob, if you're just going on current form, that should be Gahey's partner.
He's not even been mentioned.
He's not been mentioned. He's nowhere near it. In fact, actually,
he's not even him.
I'm just going to grab my keyboard and I will just double check that there is actually quite a few. There are a few surprises because Bournemouth have quite a few players.
Oh,
yeah, there he
is. Fella now. Yeah.
So there are quite a few Bournemouth players that should be in the team.
Yeah.
So anyway, James Hill. So your backup centre backs, you want James Tarkowski from Everton at 7.14. He has been around for years.
Yeah, he was at one point getting in the England team, wasn't
Actually, when he was playing for Burnley, funnily enough. But
he played. He's been around. How old's he now?
He must be in his 30s.
Yeah,
he's got to be in his 30s.
Around for
very
years.
experienced. But he actually, the trouble with Tarkowski, he hasn't had a lot of international experience. So, yeah, but according to FOTMob, if you're just going for that, he is one of the best performing English centre-backs in Europe. So, there you go.
With a lot of England, it's the same with, they always say the greatest manager that never got a job, Brian Clough. If your face don't fit the FA, you're not in.
Exactly. And then we have Kwanzaa as well, 7.13.
Villa.
He is he is Leverkusen, isn't he?
Oh, this chap, this one we spoke about. Yeah.
He used to play for Liverpool.
Yes,
I think.
That's right. Yes.
So he is in the squad anyway. I looked at the Bundesliga. One of the best performing centre backs. So he's got 7.13. So he's just underneath Tarkowski. And then I went for one other centre back, because I think you could probably play one of the left backs at centre back. I think I just went for a kind of utility member. Anyway, actually no. I tell you what, I went for the next highest performing defender. Didn't matter if it was a fullback, because I think you got all the positions covered. That was Harry Maguire, 7.04.
Now, I don't know anyone that doesn't disagree with that.
Although the other thing is I just put in the notes that James Justin was also rated 7.04. He was exactly the same as Harry Maguire, but I picked Maguire because he's got more international experience.
And you're a Man United fan.
And I'm a Man United fan.
He's signed a new contract, isn't he now, Harry?
He has, he's got another year, which is good. So the two left backs that should be going, no surprises here. We have Nico O'Reilly at 7.17.
He's starting for me. He's had a cracking season.
Yeah.
He's really come to life this season, hasn't
he probably will be first choice left back anyway. He's got to be. And someone who I really like, so people going on about Luke Shaw, Lewis Hall, Dan Burn, blah, blah, blah. But I really like this kid, and I'm surprised he didn't get mentioned. I think he should have gone to the Euros as well, but it's Tyrick Mitchell, 7.07 from Crystal Palace. Yeah. I think that kid is quality. So, he apparently, according to FOTMob, should be a second choice left back for England. So, there you go.
Wow. And, them names that have been mentioned, you wouldn't even think, I personally haven't even thought twice about them. I do believe we should be going with the centre-backs that's got us through. And I always forget his name, he plays for Villa, because I always felt he was foreign. And the one who's been partnering Gayu in defence in the build-up to the qualification.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, he's quite solid.
Begins with K, I can't think of his name. Terrible, isn't it? It's a football podcast and don't even know half their names. Yeah. You should watch the boxing ones, I'm even better at that.
Right, let's get on to the midfielders. So, I went for 4 centre midfielders and 3 number 10s, so 3 attacking midfielders, because I think that's what, when I looked at it, I think that's what Tuchel's gone for anyway. So we have top performing centre midfielders, Declan Rice, so he should be 100%. Starting 7.56, and Elliot Anderson 7.53. So that should be a midfield too. So far we should have, you can either have Henderson or Pickford in goal, Reece James right back, Gahey and James Hill centre back, and Nico Ryan left back, Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson in midfield. Your 2 backup centre midfielders, we mentioned him last time, and it's a travesty he ain't going, because when you look at his rating, James Garner 7.39 is better than most of the other, any other midfielder in the Premier League, but he's only just behind Elliot Anderson on 7.53, Garner's on 7.39. So that's nuts that he's not going, and he can cover right back as well.
And talking of Elliot Anderson, I believe City have had their first bid turned down.
Oh, really? What, 100 million or something?
Yeah. I caught it briefly, so I can't discuss too much about that. I've been busy with work, but City have had the first bid turned down. Right. And he's gonna want about 200 million. That owner, and he's
Yeah,
I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name either.
I'd love Elliot Anderson. I know. I'd love him at Man United, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then your second backup centre midfielder should be Alex Scott from Bournemouth, who has a 7.17 average rating on FOTMob, and he is a good player. So, yeah.
Do you think, though, that this will suit Tuchel's way, especially how like the Bournemouth players that you mentioned, how that intensity football that they play, which for me works. It bloody works. Use it from now on, right? Pep's gone, forget about it.
Yeah.
That's the football that works for me. But the way the way it was in the build-ups, it's been very boring football. So would they fit in that? That's the question.
That's a very good point, actually. Do they? I think he has picked a lot of players who he thinks fits his style of play.
Yeah.
So
why absolutely, pick Jed Spence?
Well, there you go. Also, I mean, to be fair, we said it last time. Henderson's nowhere near. However, you could argue that for his leadership qualities and his things in the dressing room, that's why he's going. So,
and in that, I think we mentioned it last time in the Qatar World Cup, where you could hear everything. He was the vocal one the whole time in that team. The whole time in that team. And that is even more vocal than Harry Kane. I always felt he should have been our captain. I mean, Harry Kane, he's done absolute wonders, but for me, the leader there was Jordan Henderson.
Yeah. Can agree with that. So number 10s, we have Jude Bellingham. Should be I've got Bellingham as a number 10. I think he's a 10. Yeah. He can play centre midfield, but for me, I actually do think the starting midfield three could possibly be Rice, Anderson, and Bellingham. So Bellingham's got 7.52. I do think that probably is what he's going to go for. That's kind of what I would go for as well. If
we can keep him injury free, because he's had an injury.
Yes, indeed.
Season, hasn't he? And but if he's in form and he is fit and healthy, he is going to be getting us goals.
Yeah.
And let's face that, that's hard to come by in football these days.
Indeed, goals change games. Yeah, exactly. So, second choice, number 10, is Phil Foden at 7.34. I can understand why he isn't going, because he has had not a great season and he's never done it for England. However, he can play 10, he can play on the wing. He just doesn't do any of them particularly very well when he pulls on the England shirt, but according to FOTMob, he should be going, and he actually should be going over Cole Palmer, who I believe was nowhere near any of the others, even in attack. But I would take Palmer over Foden just on the eye test.
Come on and do it. He's got it about him, but like we discussed last time, as much as it's gutting that he's not going, but he really needs that rest.
I'm not actually. And then this guy.
100%.
Third choice number 10 should actually be Kiernan Dewsbury Hall of Everton.
Such an underrated
7.22 has not been mentioned by anyone in the build-up. All the attention's been on Palmer, Foden, all these big names. He actually should be going over all of them. Do you know what I mean?
And
he's got
His work rate. If Everton fans, if you're watching this, you'll know. You've seen him play, and he just never gave up for Chelsea. He kept running and running, even when it was down. He kept going and going, and we should never ever have got rid of him. He was far better than some of them players that have stayed in that team. And I was gutted when he went. I really loved him at Chelsea. I thought he was a cracking player.
Yeah, totally agree. So we'll move on to the forwards. So for the forwards, again, I went with what Tuchel's done. 2 right wingers, 2 left wingers, and 3 centre forwards. So the two right wingers, I was about to say left, I was thinking left-footed. Anyway, we should have Saka, 7.52. So he should be a starting right winger. The backup should be Jared Bowen with a 7.16 rating. We did mention him last time. A lot of people are surprised he's not going.
Yeah, so, he's always changed the game for England when he's come on too.
Yeah, good player. And starting left winger, Tuchel actually has got the attack pretty much right according to FOTMob. It should actually be Rashford, 7.21. So there you go. And I looked at this across the whole leagues as well, because obviously I had to look at the Spanish league for top rated players. Rashford is in there. Rashford's right up there.
Rashford looks like he's lost his chance to go to Barcelona, though. Not his fault, but Anthony Gordon,
who actually shouldn't be in the squad according to this.
Really?
He's nowhere near. He's nowhere near Rashford. He was not in the top percentiles at all in terms of this. However, someone who should be really unlucky to miss out, who was very close, is Jack Grealish, because he was a 7.21 until he got injured. So he is actually level with Rashford, but he's injured. So he wasn't even in contention. So he can consider himself unlucky.
I mean, I'd have Jack Grealish over Rashford any day. And I'll put Rashford third out of all of them. But,
Yeah.
if he turns up and does a good job, I mean, he's done all right in Barcelona, isn't he? But like many people mentioned before, and it's a lot of football players, is if they can be bothered to do it, whether they're getting their own way. I mean, I used to love Rashford. I thought he was a great player.
Oh, me too.
It's the game, it's the attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, it's just you got to get the other side of your game happening as well these days. You've got to track back. You've got to put the work in. So back up left winger. It shouldn't be Anthony Gordon. It's a bit of a shock. It should be Marcus Tavernier or Tavernier from Bournemouth.
Tavern.
Tavern.
I believe he was related to Tavern, or was it Tavernier that's Real Madrid Rangers.
See, I don't even know anything about him. I can't even pronounce his name.
Yeah, so I know his brother more. His brother, if it is his brother, I've never really looked into it, but they got the same surname. He used to be the Rangers captain. He's not now because obviously he's leaving Rangers. He's the one who used to take the free kicks and all that, the right back. So, I believe that's his brother.
So Barcelona should actually be signing him over Gordon. Right, Taverner. He got a 7.2. He's only 0.1 behind Marcus Rashford. So you could actually make a case for him even starting. So yeah, that's crazy.
With Gordon though, he's been versatile, hasn't he? He's played as a false number 9, as they called it. So maybe that's why them stats are down, because I think he's been good, great. I'd have loved for him to come to Chelsea, but he went to go to Barcelona, didn't he? His dream move was Barcelona. He even learnt Spanish to get there, so good luck to him. I hope he goes on and he cracks on and he does a really good job at it.
The other thing is you've got to remember that Bournemouth have had a much better season than Newcastle, so their ratings are going to be up. So there you go.
And to be fair, in the other side of it too, what I just realised too, it's them players that we're talking about have been playing European football, and
they've got experience.
So it's not that, I mean, like the for the energy levels too. I'm thinking of more that and they played a lot of games in Newcastle. I remember at one period there was a lot of games they had to play, and I think it's round the time they played Barcelona, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
So I good luck Gordon, and I think he's a great player, and I really hope he succeeds out there. If he don't, come Chelsea.
You might never know. He might do. Might come back to the English league if you don't do it. So the centre forwards. So Tuchel's actually got this spot on if you go by FOTMob. So now this was the thing. So first of all, Harry Kane, no doubt, he is an average rating of 8.14. He's actually the highest rated player in the whole squad. So he should be going. So
he's
no doubt about that.
Absolutely killing it.
Yeah,
in Germany,
he is killing
isn't
it.
He?
So
he ain't mucking around out there.
He's not mucking around.
Although there's rumours Barcelona want him.
Interesting.
There's a lot of rumours about Barcelona want him. I don't know where they're getting their money from, because I was under the illusion that Barcelona can only sign a certain amount of players because of the amount of money that they're in debt to, and something about foreign players too. I don't know if that's to do with their bans or what, but there's another rumour he's going Barcelona. That Barcelona want him, not that he's going, that Barcelona want him.
Need a Lewandowski replacement. So so here's the thing. So Ivan Toney is next, 7.8. Now this is if you consider the Saudi league to be a top league. So the argument would be, if he was in the Prem, would he have still got close to that rating? I think he would, because
he was doing it, wasn't he?
When we get to the next lot, you'll see what I mean. But it's just whether you think that's enough in that league to take him. If not, then we go to the next one, which is Ollie Watkins, who is the next highest rated striker. Now this rating is not great; it's 6.91. However, it's still better than people like Welbeck. And
really?
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin, all the other ones who were considered.
He's had a great season. It's nice to see him back playing a lot and not being injured so much. It's funny how when you go to different clubs it works like that, but Danny Welbeck, I think he's been knocking on that door.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just whether you think...
It's like a Defoe, isn't he? When you
absolutely. It's just whether you think that... I think Welbeck was like a 6.8, or he might have actually been level with Watkins at 6.9 or something, but Tony's got a better rating now. It's whether you think that 6.9 in the Prem with Welbeck and Calvert-Lewin and all that is better than Ivan Toney's 7.8 in the Saudi League.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? And that's where the debate lies with taking Toney over those other guys.
Anyone that knows English football will know what Ivan Toney can do. So this is
He
why.
can take a penalty. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
I think he's only ever missed one, and that was recently.
Yeah.
This is why you can never really go on stats on paper, as far as I'm
Exactly,
concerned,
yeah.
because it doesn't say what's actually really happening and
No.
what's going on. You know what I mean? Look at Danny Welbeck, for instance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his average rating wasn't any. Well, he was close to Watkins, I think, from memory, but it wasn't enough to get him into that lineup. And that's your team. So you start at 11. So you should have. Again, you can either pick between Henderson and Pickford. If you go by pure stats, it should actually be Henderson. You got Reece James right back, O'Reilly left back. You got Gahey and Hill, James Hill centre backs. Midfield: Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, and Jude Bellingham. And you've got your attack is Saka, Rashford, and Kane, which is quite close to what he's already got. So yeah, there you go.
I do believe people underrate Madueke. He's an old school winger that will run at you.
Yeah.
And that's where it cause you problems. Like Jack Grealish, Jack Grealish glide, whereas Madueke's more powerful, and he can overrun the ball. He can be a hog though, Madueke. He can be a hog, but I think he deserves a lot more credit than what he gets for. So
that wraps that up. That's what your England team should be, just based on stats and average ratings on FOTMob. So there you go. Another call for FOTMob to sponsor us.
Yeah, come on, please do. Get in touch. Follow the Instagram if you want to get in contact FOTMob, and we're on Instagram at the Sports Music and Life podcast. So yeah, please do. Do you want to talk about the news of the Man United fans could get excited about, I suppose, and that is
Glazers could be selling, which is good. That was had everyone jumping for joy the other day when I saw it on X. So I would love this to be true. If so, I'd see all the rumours that Sheikh Jassim's coming out again, and they're putting a consortium together. I'll believe it when I see it, because this seems to happen every couple of years at the moment with this lot.
Yeah.
I would say that perhaps they haven't actually got the money to keep, because they do need to put money in, and the stadium's going to cost them a lot of money, and they can't keep putting on debt. So I do believe that when they say that it's a bit of a split between the Glazer family, and that some of them are looking to sell and some of them want to stay, I think this was the case when they sold it. Well, not sold it, but when Ratcliffe was interested in it, and we ended up doing a deal with him. And I think that was like a compromise.
Yeah,
do you see what I mean?
Yeah, because what's his name? We just mentioned it, the Sheikh Jassim. Yeah. He wanted it outright, and he went over bid for it too. But because Ratcliffe come in and said you can keep a bit, go on in, and then
he also technically valued the club at more. Whatever it was, I think it was 1.5 billion. For what he got, which was like 25%, works out that if you valued the club at 100%, it was more than Sheikh Jassim's offer. If that makes sense, you see what I mean. So yeah.
But I always remember an interview with Gary Neville to Jim Ratcliffe and that, who was had a box at Chelsea. I like to add that. I've added that in, but I'm pretty sure I have.
True Man United fan.
And all of a sudden, it's like Mason Mount. We've got another Mason Mount in our hands with a lot more money, though. A lot more power. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now.
If it is true, I would love it. But I just don't think it is, I just think it might just be paper talk. I think it's nothing. The information's nothing new as well, because we know that they wanted to sell last time. They probably want to. I'm not saying that it's completely old news, because it probably has surfaced that they still want to sell despite everything that's happened 2 years later. They probably probably like, we want out and everything. If they do, then great. My only problem would be is if Qatar aren't interested, or if a decent owner with loads of money isn't interested, then it could go to someone even worse. It could go to like an investment fund, which would be terrible.
This is what I was going to get to, So with what I remember I was going to say, the other thing they reckon they do this for is to get the stocks up on the stock market.
And it did go up, mate. To be honest, it went up by quite a few points the other day.
But for me, I think you've got the same problem we had. It's the Yanks and who they're going to sell it to, the Yanks, and you're going to have the same problem. I think they won't bother with someone that buy it outright, because they look after their friends. And I think that's your problem. Yeah. But Sheikh Jassim, if you'd love to buy Chelsea, we'd love to have you. I think that'd be a best bet. It's a very nice place to live in London. But let's see what happens. A little bit about Chelsea. Now I'm hearing Alonso's coming in as a manager, not a coach, as a manager.
Ooh, very interesting.
But again, we're hearing they're going to get experienced players, but next thing you know, we're linked to young players still. It's all well doing that. Is whether you're going to listen to him and actually do what you know should be done. But let's see. I haven't got much hope in it, and this is why I don't think it will work with Alonso either.
He did say he only likes a certain type of player or something like that. He needs a certain type of player to play the way he wants to play, which is a lot of managers these days.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, that's probably why they're saying he's going to be a manager, because he wants to pick those players himself.
Yeah.
He wants to pick the players. He does not want people above him saying, you need to take Garnacho and this one and that one, and you've got to try and find a way to use them. He's going to say, no, they're crap. They don't fit the way I want to do it.
I've said many times in this podcast in life, I'm always a believer in if you back the manager for what he wants and he fails, then that's his fault. It's on his head.
Yeah.
If he fails with what you're making him have, then that's your problem.
Exactly.
But it ain't my money. I don't have that money. But FootMob, if you sponsor us, I think that's hopefully for all the United fans that you get the owners that you want. And it's whether it worked with Jim either. That's what I was going to say. Sorry, Paul, for just remembering. So the interview with Gary Neville, I'll go back to that Jim Ratcliffe done with Gary Neville, and I think he put about 300 million into Man United, and they took 200 million out. And Gary asked him, "How do you feel about that?" And you could just tell by he wasn't happy with it.
Yeah, they're
but
parasites.
he couldn't say too much about it because obviously he was involved. But you could really say that they took liberties there.
Yeah, well they are parasites and they will pay themselves first. I don't think I was actually going to bring up the thing about Jim Ratcliffe, from what I've read, I don't think, not him, but Ineos, because Ineos is the stakeholder. I don't think they've got the money to buy it outright. So if the clause is, if the Glazers decide to sell, they have to offer it to Ineos first.
Right.
They have to give them first refusal. I think they probably would refuse on those, because at the moment, if you look at what they're doing, they seem to be shedding assets and stripping assets because they're actually kind of struggling a little bit as well, struggling to survive.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're in a position to be able to buy all of Man United if the Glazers decide to sell. Now, the Glazers don't have to sell it to Jim Ratcliffe. They can sell it to whoever they want. They have to give it to him first. If he refuses, they can sell it to whoever. So
the other thing too is what I think was a big problem is the consortiums of buying clubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Too many sergeant majors.
Yeah, I agree.
As they say,
I
won't say a swear word after, just in case kids are watching this, but people, you can finish your sentence yourself. And that is the problem. And that's the big problem. Like I said, I think we've got about 11, haven't we?
Yeah. It doesn't work.
No.
Doesn't work.
No. And then they're all powerful people, powerful money, and there's your egos. Just like with football players in a team with an ego, they've got ego with lots of money. It doesn't work. So hopefully the Sheikh Jassim comes in and outbuys Chelsea.
And it is, well, and to be honest, it's much better. We've seen it works when it's one rich guy, like Abramovich,
City owners,
or their family, not like a load of businessmen. So yeah, you want Abramovich, and it's a hierarchy. Now, obviously, Abramovich,
apart from the Glazier family,
they're rich. But you want one person at the top, and they delegate a lot of the other stuff down. Obviously, Abramovich wasn't in charge of running the team and all the rest of it, but he was final decision maker. So
you want it as someone that loves football and has a passion, and it's not.
Yeah, and it's their vision.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and it is a business for them too. Look, they put a lot of money into it. I've always understood that. I get that, but it's just more than a business, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Of course it is,
and because there's so much money involved with the Premier League.
And I think this is what's ruining football, is that there's too many now owners that are treating it as a business. Like Man United to them is a business. Like all they really want, they don't care if we win a trophy. They don't care if we win the Premier League. They don't care if we win the Champions League. all they care about is getting us into those Champions League positions.
Yeah.
So as long as we finish 5th or above, anywhere else they don't care. We want to win trophies. Like, football's all about winning trophies.
Yeah.
Ask Arsenal fans who've just won
Yeah,
one. So,
you lost one.
well, I lost one, which we'll come to in a minute.
Yes.
But football's all about trophies, and football's all about winning things and honours and that. And if you're just focusing on being the best business, well, you might as well go and support Apple or someone like that, because they're the best business at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're the ones who make the most money.
Or
So
Tesla.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's. I think. Yeah, you've got to have the passion, haven't you? 100% really, and that's what Abramovich had, and any City owners, be interesting to see what happens. Because obviously Pep Guardiola's gone now, and there's all these rumours that they're in serious trouble. And that I personally don't think the league are going to do much to them because of what they bring, just like what we had. But I think they're going to get a couple of years, maybe a year or so, transfer ban. And I'm hearing Cucurella could be going to City, but I think you rather favour Barcelona because that's where he's from. And I've also read in a headline today that it's looking, as we all suspected, that Maresca is going there, and they're talking about compensation to Chelsea.
Wow.
That's probably the smartest thing these owners have done. Well, one of them. They've done a few. I'm not going to completely...
I think they have a case, actually, because they have tapped him up.
Yeah,
they turned his head.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, they can have him, Martin. I think he will go and win serious trophies there because you have the better quality players. And he's got it about him, but I do think he cost a lot of games for us. Whether it's not the players or not, it'll be interesting to see. But, yeah.
Right. We need to talk about Arsenal then.
Did you want to discuss what I was talking to you about before? So we've done one of them, but the Everton forward that you're going on.
We are meant to be. Yeah, we're
what
meant
was
to.
His name?
Ndai or something like that. Yeah.
Now, for those who do know him, please let us know in the comment. But I'm pretty sure he's the one that he went on. He wasn't scoring for ages until he played Chelsea. Funny enough, and he's the striker who got a couple of goals against us.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of shock when I was reading the transfer headlines on Sky Sports News. If you want to sponsor us, or Sky Sports.
I honestly don't know much about him. Even though he plays for Everton, I don't know much about him. The one I said last time, I would love either Thiago. From Bournemouth.
There's a lot want him, a lot of people want him.
Or either Tony. So he was never in consideration for me at all. I don't know much about him. I barely watched him play this season, barely noticed him. So I would obviously, if we did sign him, I would back him, until he turns. If he turns out to be crap, then I won't. But yeah, I was shocked by that. But yeah, Ineos have got a habit of pulling a random name out of a hat, and who you never expected. So, and there's been a few like that in centre midfield. I mean, I know we've signed Edison, who looks all right.
You got him, have you? No, I know. I've
think
seen
it is
it.
definitely
Looks like.
confirmed,
Did he have? I think I read a bit had been set to his having a medical yesterday. Never heard of him either. I'm sure my son Alfie knows him. I was just saying about this. He calls it foot mob. This app's amazing. Just want to quickly. I was talking to Paul before we went live and that, and the amount of information he gets off of that app. And I'm not just talking about like professional teams. Like he reads a lot up about semi-pro teams, like step 2, 4, and 5, and that. His knowledge from that app is amazing. And I've stopped arguing with him now about it.
Because
he knows a lot more than what
facts,
I know about it. And I've been reading. I'm like, oh, bloody he's talking the truth.
Yeah, distance cover, chances created, all that stuff.
Yeah, don't be coming after us with money. I think we've done you a good turn here, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go on in Arsenal, Paul. What are you saying?
Well, I thought that was rubbish. I mean, I thought, honestly, in a final, was that worse than Inter Milan last season? At least Inter Milan had a bit of a go. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought the first goal was a little bit fortunate. I thought it was
cracking goal though. I must admit how he got it in that angle where credit's due. And that's 2 Champions League finals he scored in, but he won it with the main club. Though.
I think it was a goalkeeping mistake. I think he should have saved it. Yeah, he ducked. He should have just put his hands up. He got it.
I just think the speed that went past him, I don't think you see it. I don't think he had time to see where that went because that flew in and that angle. I mean, yeah, no, what I thought cracking goal.
He did the right thing. He just smashed it. Do you know what I mean? He just absolutely hit it as hard as he could, and that was the best thing he could have done in that position. But yeah, I thought. To be fair, I thought Arsenal in the first half. So they scored the goal. They sat back. I didn't think they looked in too much trouble.
No.
They had a couple of chances where they could have hit him on the break. Fair enough. But I thought in the second half onwards, I thought they were poor, and I thought they didn't threaten them at all. And I thought they were lucky not to get. In fact, actually, Saka, that could have been 2 handballs. I thought that should have been a penalty.
Yeah,
and I
must
think
have switched off at this point. So
yeah,
I don't remember that.
I think it might have actually been in the first half.
Right, yeah.
And he actually handballs it twice. So one of them, the first one, you could probably say was accidental. The second one, he controls it with his hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it's the lowest possession that a team has had in a Champions League final since Arsenal against Barcelona when Ronaldinho won the game for them.
Oh,
but
messy, wasn't it?
I just think, do you know what? If you're going to turn up, I've got to criticise Arteta for this, because if you're going to turn up to a Champions League final and you're going to play like that, you better win. Do you know what I mean? Because it was just rubbish.
I thought never agreed with going defensive
No.
in a game.
You might as well have a go at them.
Always turns out how it turned out. And for me, I think the early goal killed the game. Because, like you said, Arsenal went defensive.
Yeah.
And PSG were very poor in the first half.
Yeah, they didn't create anything. They had a lot of the ball, but they never looked threatening, to be honest.
It was crap. They turned it on in the second half. And that, to me, is where I think, right, we need another goal here.
Yeah.
But for some reason, these managers still just think we're better off sitting back. You've only got one goal, and I just think you invite it on too much, and eventually they're going to get tired and they're going to find it. And PSG had the more quality on the bench to come on and change the game. And then there was some of the subs Arteta was doing too.
Yeah, nuts.
But the penalties, oh my God, they're awful. A lot of them, you can see him walking up and you go, he ain't got this. And that's from both teams.
I'll tell you what, for 2 of their players not to hit the target as well is really poor.
Silly little run up every time. How have you not learned yet? And your professional football players have been through that loads and loads and loads, so amateurs too. That silly run up cost you in a penalty. Yeah. And it just baffles me how no one's not learnt it yet.
Yeah, I completely agree. So one of the things that you might argue with me on, Arsenal fans or whoever, is, well, we played like that and we could have won it because we only lost it on penalties. Now, my argument is, one of the things I hate the most in football is playing for penalties, because I think it's a crap tactic, and I think you've got to try and win the game. You've got to try and win the game. Like, if I was a manager, I'd be trying to win the game in normal time. I'd rather lose it in normal time than go out on penalties. Or have the lottery of penalties.
Go out trying. Exactly.
So it's the worst thing ever to lose on penalties.
And I think Arsenal could have took it to them a lot more than what they did.
Yeah, I think so, because in the first half, I think they were getting in behind them a bit, and they did have a couple of chances where I think this is going to be 2-0 in a minute. Do you know what I mean? I actually thought the game was going to go the way of PSG will look dangerous, Arsenal will get a second, and they'll kill it off and they'll win it, So I just think, you could have, particularly if they'd have come out in the second half and hurt them, then it could have been a much different game. I think that's a big opportunity missed, because I don't know if they're going to get to another final anytime soon, because their track record in Europe isn't very good.
No.
So that is that's a big opportunity missed.
Yeah, and I forgot all about this, but I'm sure Arteta was the manager too when they got to the last European final, which was Europa League, and then beat them Chelsea.
Was he the manager, was he?
I'm sure he was. It might have been Emery, but it might have been Emery. I might have got that wrong, but I'm sure you can criticise me in the comments all you want. I don't care. You lost 2 finals in the European, and the only good thing to come out of this is Chelsea is still the only team in London to win the Champions League.
Yeah, well, actually, to be fair, I think at the moment, Arsenal are one of the few teams in London who don't have a European trophy. Although, actually, to be fair to them, they've got the Super Cup. They won it in the 90s, but some people would say that doesn't count.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, recently, do you know what I mean? Because we've got, even Tottenham, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Chelsea. You've all got European trophies, and Arsenal haven't got one in this kind of era, So even they lost. See, I didn't realise they lost another Super Cup final to Galatasaray. I think in the year 2000, they got all the way to the. So Wenger would have been the manager. I didn't actually realise that.
No, I didn't either.
I'd forgotten that. It's crazy stuff. So I'm gonna have a look actually. Who was the manager when in the last one? So go on.
So to sum it up, if you want to win a final in the European Cup, then
I think
get Arsenal.
I think this was Emery, mate, because I don't
could
think.
well be actually.
I
forgot we even played him in the final.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, Emery.
Yeah, it is Emery. Yeah.
No, I'll take that back then. I'll take it back, but I'll give you that one. It just comes to me. I don't think we've done the podcast since the Premier League finished.
No.
No,
so congratulations, Arsenal, for winning the Premier League.
Yeah, I think you deserved it. We discussed that anyway in the last one. You 100% deserved to win the league this season. You were the better team, even though I don't think you would have won it. Because I think this is the worst you played to win the league than when you was well out in the front.
I think they were the best of the worst, unfortunately.
Yeah,
because I just think
it's
that
been
so
a poor
many teams.
season.
Yeah, because I think City have been poor. Everyone below has been poor.
Yeah.
We only really got going in the last since Carrick took over. We just and Liverpool have been poor.
Yeah, very poor. He's been sacked too, isn't he? Arne Slott's been sacked.
Iriola's quite an exciting.
Yeah, he's been announced. Yeah, so that's what I think. These people want these Bournemouth players. I can see them going to Liverpool.
Yeah, a bit like they did with Southampton players when back in the day.
Yeah,
quite a few of them.
Unfortunately, Tottenham did stay up, which was very lucky by the sounds of it. And West Ham, they done what they had to do, but I think you left it too late. And I think one of the games that definitely cost them was against Chelsea, where again, you was all over us, beating us, and you went defensive and allowed us back into it.
I think the worst one that I saw when I said West Ham are going down is when they drew. I think they got a point away to Palace, and they were quite tepid. Now, if they'd have won that game, they'd have gone 6 points clear of Spurs. So Spurs I think they probably had a game or two in hand, but that would have put real pressure on them. Do you know what I mean? Because 6 points clear, even when you've got a game in hand. Because at the time, Tottenham, because you think, I've got a game in hand, might win it. Well, Tottenham weren't winning anything at the time. Do you know what I mean? They were struggling to get points. So I do think that they sort of played it a bit too safe. Again, should have gone for it and should have tried to win it, because that point was pointless because they still went down. So you can't try
the
and
wrong
win.
manager, as far as I'm concerned. You should have kept Frank and Tudor. I think that was out of order that they lost their jobs. So Hull City are back in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think we'll do another show on this.
We'll do a season review.
We'll do a season review next show, because then we'll be going into the World Cup, I believe, after that one, because we do it every 2 weeks, don't we? So
I think actually the World Cup will have. I think it'll be the first day actually. I think because I think it's a week.
Right.
Yesterday. Is it next week? I think it might be next
July.
week.
I don't know. I'm a bit out.
I'm gonna have a look actually. Just gonna double check.
So we'll do that, and we might do 2 in one day. Then we'll do a quick brief end of the season.
It's next Thursday. So
is it start next Thursday?
11th
I thought it was
of June.
July.
No, it's 11th of June.
Oh, I thought it was July.
It's a quick turnaround, yeah. So it's going to be 11th of June. So we actually will be deep in the World Cup by then.
Yeah, so we'll see how the World Cup's getting on, and maybe after the World Cup we'll do a complete football season review with the World Cup and the league promotions and demotions.
Yeah.
One thing I just want to quickly touch on before we finish. Now, there's a programme on the BBC iPlayer about Gareth Southgate when he became England manager, and I think you should watch it, because this is where I think it shows that he deserves a lot of credit for what he done, how he brought that team together. And there's another one on there about the so-called golden generation.
Speaking of playing for penalties, we'll talk about Southgate.
Yeah. That's the biggest letdown that I think, because he could have won us 2 cups there.
I still don't.
Not against Spain so much, but definitely against Italy, as we've all discussed many times.
We should have won that
on podcast and on the street. That he cost us that.
Should have won that
European Cup. Yeah, is it Europe? Oh, God.
They've been rubbish
I've had a-
since Italy
I've had a
as well.
brain
You know what I mean?
fart
They
there.
haven't even qualified for this World Cup again.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
3 years in a row.
Yeah, they're not good. So that we should have beaten them.
Yeah,
They should have
and they
been
were,
easy
even when
work.
we went defensive, they weren't good enough to beat us.
No.
But it's a really good watch, and this is where I think it deserves a lot of credit. And I've said it many times: is how he brought them together. But
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
another
absolutely.
one on there about the golden generation, and this really annoyed me to hear this. Right? And you used to hear them through. Oh, I love playing for my country, right? Rio Ferdinand and the Ashley Coles, the John Terrys, the Stephen Gerrards, the Jamie Carragher when he did get in the England team. And there's a few of them on this documentary. And they say, and they're openly saying it now, the reason England didn't work with them is because they didn't like each other because of clubs. Well, I'm sorry. It's the same as a fan, as a football player. And when you're going to support England or represent England, you put that aside because that's England. It's England. Forget about it. You deal with that when you're in the league. And it really annoyed me to hear that. You had that chance that every boy dreamed of when there was every boy or every girl, if you want, a dream to play for England, to represent them at World Cups. When you're playing Wembley with your friends out on the street, you know what I mean? And you want to be these players all the time. We used to say, oh, I'll be so-and-so and I'll be so-and-so. And you dreamed of your position. You had that chance. And to say that, I'll tell you what, I think that's disgusting. And you should all be ashamed of yourself, as far as I'm concerned, because that was a cracking team. And there's only one player, and that was David Beckham, that actually wanted to play for England. He didn't care about what club it was. And I just think you lot are disgusting, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if you hit me in the street or whatever, mate. I think you're disgusting. And I think hopefully a lot of the fans will agree with what I'm saying there. The people who never got a chance to play, even the ones that are playing Sunday League football, you know what I mean? You had your chance there to play and you didn't turn up. But yeah, watch the documentary, see if you get as much noise as what I did watching it. But it's a good documentary though.
I do agree that professionally they should have been able to put their differences aside.
And the papers blamed it on the Wags, and it weren't the Wags, it was the players.
I watched a video on someone who reacted to it, and he did make a good point in that year, probably the quarterfinals was the best they could hope for, because really they weren't actually that good. Well, the problem was that it wasn't even that their performance-wise they weren't great. I've always said this, that I never really liked who they had on the bench. I didn't think they had a lot of depth on the bench. But also, when you look at what would have happened if we'd have actually played France, who had a really informed Zidane, probably the best player in the world at that point. Henry up front, good headbutt.
And Italy, that's the last time I think they was in the World Cup actually, 2006.
I think they did 2010 and they got eliminated in the group stage. But anyway, Italy, if you look at the team they had then, they were absolutely stacked. They had Pirlo, Gattuso. I don't think we'd have laid a glove on them, to be honest.
I think we could have if they actually turned up.
I think on their day they might have been able to do something, but I think they would have been riding their luck in every game. Do you see what I mean? I think
when you say that about them, the Italy squad and France and Spain was sort of that was when they were starting to
they weren't
live up to what they
there
could have done with all the players there. But I think we matched them. When you look at it,
I just don't
but
think
also you had Rooney, who was coming in injured too, which was fair enough.
True.
He was never 100%.
Yeah.
And what ruined Michael Owen's career too, unfortunately that one was, because I tell you what I said many times, Kane wouldn't have got near him if he didn't get them injuries. I don't think Kane would have got near Owen, and I don't think Rooney would have either, really, because Owen was, for me, it's probably got to go down as one of the greatest finishers ever.
Yeah.
And he used his speed and pace, and he was so strong too as a little lad.
Clever player as well, actually.
Yeah,
intelligent
knowledge,
very intelligent player.
So I think I'm done. If you're done, you want to wrap it up here?
I'm done. All good.
So so thank you for listening again. For those that listen and watch the Sports News and Life podcast, Let's Talk Football. It's been another cracking show. Thank you for listening. Like we will say, leave a like and comment and all that nonsense and all that. And Footmob, you know where we're at. Instagram. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.